Welcome to the Magician with a Microphone podcast. I am Chris Langle, your host, and today we're talking about golf. And I was originally going to be talking about, how my week was, the gigs that I had. But no, guys, we got to talk about golf today. Phil Mickelson, Phil the Thrill, lefty, my favorite golfer, becomes the oldest player to win a major. That's insane. 50 years old and he wins the PGA Championship. I believe it was win number 45 for him. And what can you say about Phil Mickelson? He's my favorite golfer. Everybody, I don't really know how to qualify how somebody can be a favorite knowing damn well that Tiger Woods still plays golf. And what I mean by that is, let's face it, your favorite golfer when you're starting out is Tiger Woods because he's the best. He's the commercial, he's the guy. He's basically what Stone Cold Steve Austin was to wrestling for golf. Because if you think about it, if it wasn't for him, it probably wouldn't be as popular. I mean, it would still be popular, but not as popular. I don't think so. Because, Tiger Woods was doing things, he was winning things when he physically couldn't win things. Can't even talk right now. Perfect example, the Masters. Look at the Masters, man. Look at the Masters 2019. He comes back from a back injury, from, multiple back surgeries, then the scandal, and now he comes and he granted comes from behind because, let's face it, Francesco Molinari kind of messed up and Koepka couldn't really hold his weight. But what happens is Tiger Woods wins the Masters. Now, to me, watching that last hole of the 2021 PGA Championship, and I'm seeing just this crowd. First off, it's great seeing crowds at golf events again. I'm seeing this crowd gathered around Phil, cheering him on, and I'm getting Tiger vibes. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. And of course, you've got my second favorite player, Brooks Koepka, playing with them. So I'm like, dude, this is awesome, So I gotta give it to Phil, dude. I'm so happy he won. I'm so happy. It's been such a long time since he's, won something big. I was really hoping he was going to win every year. The U.S. Open, I root for him in the U.S. Open because he's never won it. And if he wins the U.S. Open, he becomes a Grand Slam champion. He's won the Masters. He won the Masters in 2000. I think the latest one was 2005. Either 4 or 5. Somebody's going to correct me on all of this. I know that. But he's got 45 wins altogether. He won the Masters. He's won the British Open. He's won the PGA Championship, but not the U.S. Open. And he's been damn close. I believe he's been the runner-up, 5 times? 5, 6 times? So it's crazy to think that, Phil the Thrill, the guy who can literally play golf from anywhere on the property. All right, we're talking the same guy who, one, has mastered the flop shot, has made the flop shot what it is, okay? I modeled half of my golf bag off of Phil. I have his wedges. I have the driver that he used, back in 2019 to 20, the Maverick, to almost to the exact specs that he had it. I mean, to me, the dude's just fun to watch, when it's like, if I could play like him, that'd be great, When I'm on the golf course, because I play golf religiously, I'm talking I am on the course almost every day that I can get out. When I'm not doing a magic show or something, I'm probably on a golf course. And if I'm not playing to do my golf course reviews, which you can follow me, CT Golf Reviews, I just go out and have fun. I try to improve my game. I try to work on things. And, I find myself, if I'm in a tricky situation, and you'll hear this when I do my videos, I'll say to myself, I'm like, what would Phil do? So I've been working on flop shots, flops out of the sand, flops, out of the high rough, driver off the deck, weird shape shots around trees. I'll see a 2-foot window and think I can hit it, and majority of the time I really can't. But, it's the thought that counts, I guess. In the game, it's, you don't, I guess the way that I think of it is, you plan ahead, but you can't plan too far ahead, because they always say in golf that the next shot is the one that matters, which cannot be any further from the truth. I can tell you, I've had some shitty golf shots, and I've had some horrible, horrible, like, lies and stuff, and for somehow, I don't know how, but the golf gods are just with me, and sometimes they're against me. And I'll either get out of the situation I'm in and, get the ball on the green and 4-putt, or I'll take 10 shots getting to the green and 1-putt. You never know. One of my favorite things that ever happened to me on the course, I was actually playing at Hotbrook, which is here in Naugatuck. It's my home course. I consider it my home course. And for the longest time, I never really had a home course. Never really had something that I can call a home course. But I call Hotbrook my home course because I love it there, and it's my favorite golf course. Out of all the ones that I've played, out of all the ones I reviewed, Hotbrook's my favorite. And I'm good friends with the PGA Pro. I'm good friends with the course manager there. They always take care of me when I'm there. It's to the point, like, I'll call ahead. Hey, it's Chris Langle. How you doing? And they're like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, nothing. What do you got in the next 15 minutes? They're like, come down. We'll get you down. What other golf course is going to do that for you? Usually you got to call in advance, like, hey, I'm coming down in 4 hours. What do you have? Or set a tee time. It's like I can walk in there. I'll be like, hey, what's up? I'm here. Put me on the course with somebody. I don't care. And they do. It's great. It's great. But I'll never forget. So Hotbrook has this, their sixth hole is a slight dogleg. It's a par 5, about 500, I would say 500 something yards. Maybe 530 something yards. And one of the it's a par 5, and it's a slight dog leg to the right, and you hit straight ahead, and there's this hump where this tree used to be. And then it kind of opens up a little bit because you got another fairway coming down. But you've got trees along the left-hand side and a lot of trees on the right-hand side along with a brook. So when I usually hit, I try to just hit my Maverick, who I call Taker. If you know, you know. But I take Taker out. I tee that ball up really high. I only use one tee, believe it or not. I have this indestructible plastic tee that I'm actually holding right now. It's like clear, see-through, but I've used this for like 40-something games and it has not broken. And I'll continue to use it until it breaks. So, anyway, I usually try to tee the ball up pretty high. I got my Maverick. I usually use Callaway balls, or I use Bridgestone, or whatever I could dig out of the woods. And I hit the thing, and I try to hit the ball over the trees on the right-hand side into the center of the fairway. Usually I can. This one instance, I hit the ball, horrible shot, hooks off to the left, ends up in the other freaking fairway. And I'm like, oh, great. So I go over to the ball. I see that I've got a little bit of an opening. It's a straight shot. Once you get past like that hump that I was telling you guys about where the tree was, it's a straight shot to the green. A little sand trap on the right-hand side, kind of deep, and it's a little steep going up towards the side that the green is on. It's one of those things where it's like it's a pit and then a big hill, and they kind of just dug into it, So I take out my 3-wood, which I call All Reliable. It's a Palm Springs, like 1980s steelhead 3-wood that I just got regripped. And I mean, this is my favorite club. I call it All Reliable because I do not slice, I do not hook, I do not fucking shank, I don't do anything but hit straight bombs with this club. I have outdriven sim drivers, fucking ping drivers. There was a guy who was testing out his Titleist TSI, and he hit the ball good 300-something yards. I took out All Reliable. I clubbed the ball 20 yards ahead of him. Lucky bounce, I'll admit, but it's still 20 yards ahead of him. So, anyway, I take out All Reliable. I'm in a horrible lie. I take the club. I line up. I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I'm just going to do it. And I hit the ball as hard as I can. And I mean, this thing flies straight. We're talking, this was a picture-perfect lie. Right there, right in the center of the fairway is where it drops down, bounces another 20 yards right in front of the sand trap. So I'm like, oh, crap, what am I going to do? Take out my sand wedge, my 56, my Callaway PM grind, which is a Phil Mickelson grind. And at this point, I'm like, well, let me try to flop shot it. What would Phil do? So for those of you who don't know what golf is, what kind of shots there are in golf, what kind of plays there are, a flop shot is where you open up the face of your wedge so that way it's basically laying flat, and you hit the ball with the intention on popping it up into the air so that way it lands on the green and doesn't really roll. Sometimes you can get a good spin rate with it, have the ball spin back a little bit, but the whole point is, especially on like a hilly green, say if the hole itself is on like a hill, you want to be able to get that ball up and down so that way it doesn't hit anything. Doesn't roll, just goes right down on the green, stays there. With that in mind, I'm like, cool, I can do this. I've done this before. I take the ball, I taken the shot, and the whole intention is it's like sliding a piece of paper underneath the ball. I don't do that. I flat it, which is basically where you take the bottom of the club, and that's what hits the ball. And that's what makes contact. Instead of going up, the ball goes straight. Well, in this case, I hit the ball goes up, straight, flying fast, and I'm like, oh no. Bounces off of the tree on the other end of the green and drops onto the green itself and rolls 5 feet away from the hole. Best birdie I had ever made. Because I know I'll never be able to do that again. That's probably one of the best sequence of shots I've ever had. And it was on a hole that for the longest time I hated more than any other hole in the entire state. Now, that has switched from hole 6 to hole number 1, which is another par 5, over water, kind of straight shot, but the green is just ridiculous. Depending on where the green is, it's horrible. I mean, they call it their Augusta, and I understand why. The green is slanted, the greens are really fast, and there's this little drop-off in the very front of it, and if your ball starts rolling towards it, forget it. Take out your wedge, try to hit straight up and down. You're not getting it. Goodbye. See you later. Pick up the ball, count it as a 10, and move on. Because you're not making that shot if that starts rolling down. Now, if the pin is on the back end of the green, it's a different story. I have made par on that hole. But my general rule of thumb, because I have low self-esteem and I don't have a lot of faith in my golf game, and because my short game kind of sucks, I usually say, okay, well, I'm going to put 10 down on this card because I know that's what I'm going to shoot, and I usually do. I don't know if I curse it, but, it is what it is, I guess. I have a lot of fun on that course. Hole number 2, I might as well just give you a little rundown of Hotbrook. So, hole number 1 is that par 5 I was just telling you about with the impossible green. Hole number 2 is a straight shot. About 93, maybe 310 yards, something like that, but it's one of those greens where it's slanted. It kind of reminds me of like a mini golf hole. So you remember like when you play in putt-putt or mini golf or something, whatever you guys play, and you have that hole where it's like just slanted upwards and it's the big circle, and then the hole's like dead center and you got to hit it the right way so it goes in. Usually it's the free game hole. That's exactly what this one is, except for you don't get a free game. It's only the second hole. So pretty decent, straight shot. I can usually hit about maybe 100 yards out from it, decent shot. Hole number 3, I can usually drive the green. It's only about 290 something, maybe 300 yards from the back tees. And I play the whites. I used to play the back tees, the blacks, whatever they call it, the championship tees. Because I had this idea in my head that I wanted to eventually make the PGA Tour and try to qualify for the US Open. And I was like, well, if I make it there, I got to play the back, so I might as well play the back everywhere, get used to it. And, just like a lot of my hopes and dreams, I realized that, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to make it to the PGA Tour. I'm not good enough. So I might as well just play normally. And my scores have not improved. It's funny because on my golf channel, on CT Golf Reviews, I get people all the time because the entire first season I was playing from the tips. And somebody's like, why do you play from the tips? You have no business being back there. I'm like, because I can play from the senior tees and shoot the same thing. It's not going to make a difference. Like, my short game is garbage. I can drive a ball like Bryson DeChambeau, but I cannot play like Phil Mickelson. My short game is awful, So, and I'm trying to work on it. I'm really trying to, I'm trying to work on my putting, on my chipping and all that. My problem is I do not know how to read a green. And I don't know how to judge my speeds, my shots, and all that because it just, I don't know. It's weird. I don't see what everybody else sees. To me, it's not even a feel thing. You know, like, I don't know if anybody here listening plays golf, but it's like, you know, those guys where they'll walk on the course and, you know, they'll walk on the greens and they'll be like, all right, I can feel it's a left to right break. I can't feel that. I can't see that. I hit the ball and I just kind of hope it goes into the hole. I don't know how to read a green. So that's probably what is killing my short game. Like, bad. Like, really, really, really bad, you know? I guarantee you, if I knew how to putt, like, I was fitted for my putter, I was fitted for my wedges, I was fitted for my driver. The only thing I hate is my irons, but I'm working on that. Because I feel like if I can play good with the irons I've got, I can play good with any irons. Because I eventually want to upgrade to the Callaway Apexes. But anyway, no. So my short game sucks. But, you know, playing off of the third hole at Hopbrook, it's like no matter where I am, I can drive the green. If the wind is working with me, dude, that ball will fly. It usually bounces about 30 yards away and it lands on the green. And if I don't do that, I usually shank it off to the left a little bit and go into the sand trap. But otherwise, you know, it's a pretty easy hole. Hole number 4 is another one I try to just go ham on. It's a big hill. You're literally hitting over a hill. It's a blind shot. I hit it straight and hoped I got it go straight. Because I was playing on there one time and I shanked the ball off to the left, or hooked it off to the left, and actually hit the house that is across the street from the course and put a dent in the siding. So every time I drive past it, I see that and I'm like, I did that. That was me. I was the one who destroyed your siding. Now join me on the golf course and join the dark side. I don't know where the hell that just came from. I'm suddenly Chancellor Palpatine on the golf course when I hit your house. Shoot as bad as me or die. I don't know. It's been one of those days, I guess. But, you know, that's another cool one. If you can get it over that hill, it literally will bounce for you. I mean, that's an easy shot. I make par there almost all the time. Relatively flat green. Very, very easy. Hole number 5 on Hopbrook is a par 3 downhill. Can usually hit it with a pitching wedge. And I mean, we're talking like this is the hill that the kids go sledding on in the wintertime. It's steep. We're talking maybe 80 feet from the tee box. Like, the height of the tee box to the hole, probably 80 feet. It's high. It's really, really high. Maybe not 80 feet, maybe 60. I don't know. I really can't judge it. But it's high up. You really got to aim weirdly because you're so high up, you got to catch the wind at the right time. And it's like, it's weird because if the wind's blowing left, by the time you hit the ball left, it blows another way. Messes up your shot. But, you know, I've made par there sometimes. It's one of those holes where if it rains or if it's really, really muggy, or not really muggy, but if the ground's damp, that hole is usually really soaked. And, yeah, you hit the ball the wrong way, the ball will sink into the ground. So if it's wet, I consider it, if I can get it on the green, it's a par for me. I'll give myself the par there. Number 6 is that dog leg right I was telling you guys about where I bounced it off the tree. 7 is another par 3. About maybe I would say about 190 yards. I usually hit a 4-iron off the tee. It's the only time I'll ever take out my 4-iron is on that shot. Otherwise, you know, relatively easy, straightforward. Greens relatively flat. 2 bunkers in the front, and then what everybody calls the boobs, because they literally look like the greens got boobs. You know, one hump there, one hump there. And then you go up close to it and it looks like an ass. Which, you know, it's like you're looking at it like, oh, wow, that's great. And you hit a great shot and you think it's great and it's really not great. And then you go up and see the humps and you're like, oh, look at that. It's a resemblance of my golf game. Ass. So, hole 8 is a tough one because there's a school right next to it. Like, directly to the right of it. Like, the tee box, the blue tee box is next to somebody's yard. So, usually I play, because when I play there, it's during school hours. I play on the other white tees, which is basically the senior tees that they put the white tees on. And you can bomb it straight and hope for the best at that point. Relatively flat green. Downhill green a little bit, but, you know, it's nothing that you can't work with. And then number 9, just a straight shot. The only thing that sucks is if you shank the ball to the right, you're going in and hitting apartment buildings. And I have broken shit there before. So, not fun. But the course is good. It's a really nice, easygoing course. The people that play there are great. The people that run it are great. I have nothing bad to say about them, except for that their first hole was the worst hole I've ever played in the history of golf, ever in my life. Every single golf course that I've ever played and reviewed on my channel and in my personal life, I hate hole number 1 of Hot Brook more than any other hole in existence, and I have not even played all the courses in the state yet, which I do plan on doing. So, but yeah, if you ever check out my channel, CT Golf Reviews, I hope people like it. You know, it's something different. I started doing it when I was in, when I was in quarantine for COVID. I mean, I wasn't in quarantine. I never got sick. But, I mean, when they did the lockdowns and everything, I was like, well, shit, I got no shows. I'm not going to have any shows for a while. Can't really go out and do things. And then they opened golf courses. I was like, I'm going to go play golf. I'm just going to play as much golf as I can. I got my stimulus check. I updated my course, or my clubs. And I'm just going to go out and play. Then I got the idea, because I'm a huge fan of Rick Shields. And Rick Shields does the reviews of the clubs and everything. And does reviews of golf balls and... Sorry about that. He's always out on the same course. And I'm like, Googling golf courses in Connecticut. There's a whole bunch of them. There's 198 public golf courses in Connecticut. And I'm like, I could do something with this. I'm always out playing. I'm always thinking about the course when I'm out there. And I like being in front of a camera. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start a YouTube channel where I review golf courses. Now, I'm also a big fan of Barstool Sports, where they do the pizza reviews. And you'll notice a lot of Barstool in my reviews, especially how I rate them, because I rate them with a decimal point, because I think that is how everything should be rated. You can only have so many 6s, you can only have so many 4s, you can only have so many 8s. You need diversity when you rate something, and when I'm rating 25 courses a season, if I have, that course is 7, well, that's a 7. Hey, that one's a 7. Hey, look, that one's a 6. Oh, there's another 6, You gotta be able to differentiate. So this one's a 6.2, this one's a 6.8, this one's a 7.4. And it makes it a little bit easier because you can tell what I liked and what I didn't like. To me, I think that in order to be a really, really good golf course. All right, so theoretically speaking, I don't give out 10s for a golf course, because just like what Dave Portnoy says with Barstool, you can't give out a perfect 10, because what if you give something a perfect 10 and then you have something better, or you play something better? So 9.9 is like the top. Let me describe to you what my perfect 9.9, possibly 10 score would be. All right. I want to go onto a course and have it just look amazing. All right. I want I want the scenery to look great. Flowers planted, trees, Now, keep in mind, weather does affect that. So I would take into consideration, how they have their gardens, if they're cleaned, if the property is clean, how they organize their clubhouse, how they display everything in their pro shop, what the holes, what the tee boxes look like, what the signs look like on the tee boxes, if they're marked. What they use as far as the tee boxes, like the markings on the tee box. I've been to places where they use little blocks. I've been to places where they use pieces of cardboard, or like plastic with their logo on it. I've been to a place where they use like colored golf balls. Just whatever marks the tee box. I want the building to look nice. I want the holes to just pop out at you, like kind of like you can look at it in a postcard, or like if you would expect to see it on like the PGA website. I want a nice staff. Like I want a staff that's welcoming, excited to be there. Like, hey, how you doing, man? Welcome to the course. My name is so and so. Here, let me help you. Get your cart. Let me help you out with anything. Do you need anything? That is important to me. I feel like a great staff is amazingly important to a golf course, because those are the people that you deal with at first. I've had some people who are pretty fucking shitty. And I reflect on that, I want the course to be playable. I want the greens to be really nice. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be like the Masters. But I mean, I want them to be upkept. I want them to be nicely trimmed. I want them to look pretty. I want them to not have patches and holes and divots and shit in them, you know? I want the sand to be not only playable, but you know, not chunky and filled with rocks and shit. I want a rake there. I like cart paths. I prefer the 90% rule, you know? Playability, you know, course conditions, all of that counts. So my ideal course would be something where all of that criteria just is out of the water. You know what I mean? I want to be able to take a panoramic shot of that golf course and be like, wow, I was just here. Look at where I just played, you know? And eventually, who knows? Maybe I will find a course like that here in Connecticut and review it. I don't know. I have an idea of what that course might be, but I don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx it. But I have a very good idea of what, because right now, Oxford Greens in Oxford is my top rated course with an 8.8. Below that, I've got two 8.3s that are next to each other. I want a 9 this season, and I have a feeling I know where I'm going to play that'll give me a 9. I have a feeling I know what course it's going to be, but again, I don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx it. So, but I love golf, guys. It's my muse. It is my getaway. It is, you know, it's become a side hustle for me because I do make money doing my golf course reviews. The courses do pay me. I don't really talk about how much I get paid, but I do get paid. I like the fact that I just get to go out and enjoy myself, listen to some music. I get great conversations with the people that I play with. I meet some amazing people on these courses with all different backgrounds and past lives and everything. A lot of them are retired, you know, because older people do play golf. Some younger people play, but a lot of them are older. And you know, I'm so thankful for the experiences that I'm able to have with these people. And I've gotten gigs out of them because I've performed at golf courses and, you know, I've gone into the pro shop afterwards and said, hey, so I do golf reviews. I'm also a magician. Here's my business card. You know, take it. So I like the game. I really do. It helped me through some hard times and it continues to help me. And I'll forever be grateful for it. Even though I do get made fun of because I'm young and I play golf. It's an old person sport. Shouldn't be playing it. Well, you know what? I'm going to. I'm going to continue to play it. Why? Because it pisses you off. So, but yeah, you know, congratulations to Phil Mickelson for winning the PGA Championship. I'm really, really hoping that he's got more in the tank because, I mean, he was unbelievable over the weekend. I was watching him. At first, I thought Justin Thomas or Jordan Spieth were going to win because those were the guys that everybody was talking about. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, Jordan Spieth is kind of making a comeback. Justin Thomas has been up on the top for a while. And then I saw that the top two were Brooks Koepka and Phil Mickelson. I was like, oh, shit. So, you know, I like Koepka. I started following Brooks Koepka when I found out that he, at one point, he was the top player in the world, and I watched the recap of him playing I believe it was, he won the U.S. Open 2 years in a row, and he was the first one since Tiger to do it. And, sorry, I don't know, I really like his style. I like the fact that he's really laid back. I really like the fact that he hates golf. Like, he hates the game. Like, he loves it, but he hates it. He said it in interviews. He's like, there's so much that I would change about it. Like, he gets bored of the game. He says by the 14th hole, he's just blacking out and just, you know, his mind is going somewhere else, which I think is hysterical because, you know, you're making $12, $13 million if you win a championship and you're sitting there like, oh, I just want to get the fuck out of here. But then again, it kind of reminds me of John Daly because John Daly never took the game seriously. He would sit there drinking and eating candy and smoking a pack of cigarettes a game, driving a golf cart, and he would rip that fucking ball harder than anybody ever would. And, you know, he won a lot of championships doing that. You know, but he was laid back. He was careless. He didn't care. But at the same time, you could tell he liked it. You could tell he was just out there to have a good time. It just, it's one of those things. It's like you work, you like what you do and you never work a day in your life. It's kind of the equivalent of John Daly. He's like, I'm playing golf, but I love it. But hey, I get money too. That's pretty cool. So, but guys, I'm going to get going. I really hope that you enjoyed the podcast today. I wanted to make it a little quick because I noticed that the quicker the podcast, maybe within the 30, 35 minute range, the more listening time I get. So I hope everybody has a good weekend. I don't know what I'm going to talk about next week. I'm probably going to have a guest. I'm not sure yet. I'm actually going to be on my buddy Greg Dwyer's podcast. You can go and check him out, gregdwyer.com. He has a TV show called Mindful Conversations and a podcast called The Diamond Mind Potential. I'm going to see about getting my buddies Pete and Chris on to talk, because they are great entertainers. Pete and Chris Amusements, if you ever get the chance, check them out, look them up, like them on Facebook. Oh, and big news. Why the hell did I forget this? Well, probably because I was on golf and not magic. I booked a theater show. I'm coming back to the Bijou Theater in Bridgeport on September 12th, the day after 9/11. Meaning that if you are a first responder, you get in for free. The 20th anniversary of 9/11 is the day before. I am not allowing any first responders to take out their wallets. Also, considering the hell of a year that they had last year, they deserve it. So come on down. Tickets start at $10 for kids, $20 for adults. It's a great theater. If you're listening to this and you can make it, absolutely come down. And there's going to be a chance that you could win free tickets. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to have some vouchers. But I also want to see who listens to this full podcast and who doesn't. So periodically throughout the podcast, I'm going to start giving away keywords, like almost kind of like hints, right? And if you can tell me, either inbox me or, mainly inbox me, the keywords that I'm going to be using from now until the show, I'll give you free tickets. I'll give you maybe two